This is when your real life begins. There comes a moment in every soul's journey where everything goes quiet. No more noise from the outside world. No more pretending. No more performing. It's the moment when your eyes open not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally, mentally. A moment when something deep inside you says, I can't live like this anymore. You look around and suddenly the life you've been living doesn't feel like life at all. That is when your real life begins. Chapter 1. The false life you were living. You weren't born broken, but the world taught you to live that way. From a young age you were told who to be, how to act, what's right, what's wrong, what success looks like, who to impress, or what not to say, and little by little, you built a mask. You became the version of you the world would accept. You got the grades, you got the job. You smiled at the camera, you posted the happy life, but inside, you were dying, you weren't living. You were performing. And the scary part? No one could tell. Because on the outside everything looked fine, but deep inside, you knew this couldn't be all there is. Asterisk, Chapter 2, the collapse before the rise reel. Life doesn't begin with celebration. It begins with collapse. The breakdown, the burnout. The silent anxiety attacks, the empty success. The nights you cried yourself to sleep. The mornings you woke up tired of pretending. It begins when your soul says, enough. Enough of living. For others, enough of chasing validation. Enough of smiling through pain. It begins when you stop numbing. You stop distracting, you stop running, you sit with the silence. And for the first time, you meet yourself, and it's uncomfortable. It's scary, it hurts, but pain isn't punishment. It's a message. A teacher. It's your soul asking for something real. Chapter 3. Psychological rebirth in psychology. They call this moment a transformational awakening. It's the death of the old self. Not literally, but spiritually. Your beliefs begin to fall apart. Your identity unravels. You start asking terrifying questions. Who am I really? What do I want outside of what others want from me? What if everything I built was a lie? It feels like falling apart, but you're not breaking down. You're breaking through. You're shedding layers of pain, shame, fear, and conditioning. And from the ashes of your false self, your real life begins to rise. Asterisk, Chapter 4. Walking the new path. You don't change your life overnight. You change it in moments, tiny, brave moments. When you say no to what drains you, when you say yes to your boundaries, when you speak your truth even if your voice shakes, when you cry instead of hide, when you choose peace over approval, when you choose purpose over comfort, those are the real victories, and no one claps for them. But you do them anyway because you're no longer living for applause. You're living for freedom. Chapter 5. Rebuilding your inner world. As your real life begins, you become intentional. Not just about your goals, but about your energy. You start observing your thoughts. You notice how often you criticize yourself. You see the way you betray your needs to avoid conflict, and you start changing the script. You stop saying, I'm not good enough, and start saying, I am learning, I am healing, I am growing. You stop asking, do they like me? And start asking, do I like me? You don't build confidence overnight. You build it by keeping promises to yourself, even small ones. Every time you show up, every time you stay consistent, every time you honor your word, you build trust. And that trust becomes your foundation. Asterisk, Chapter 6. Radical self-honesty. Real life begins when you become brutally honest with yourself. Not cruel, honest. You stop blaming your past. You stop making excuses. You stop outsourcing your power. You take responsibility. Not for what happened to you, but for what you choose next. And that's where transformation begins. You're no longer a victim of your story. You become the author. Chapter 7. Slowing down to wake up. We live in a culture addicted to speed. Do more. Achieve more. Post more. But real life begins when you slow down enough to feel. Feel the anger you buried. Feel the joy you denied. Feel the sadness you never expressed. Feel the you underneath all the noise. Stillness is not laziness. It is where awareness is born. You start waking up to the beauty of simplicity. A quiet morning, a real conversation, a deep breath. A moment of presence. These are not distractions. These are life itself. Chapter 8, redefining success before. Success meant money, likes, applause, followers. Now it means something else. Waking up without anxiety, loving without losing yourself, resting without guilt. Living in alignment, looking in the mirror and liking what you see, you realize peace is priceless. And authenticity is the highest form of success. You stop chasing and start becoming. Chapter 9, the power of choice. At every moment, you're choosing comfort or growth, numbing or healing, chaos or clarity, fear or truth. And no matter how long you've been off track, you can choose again. The past doesn't define you. The opinions of others don't bind you. The mistakes you made don't erase your worth. Every day is a new vote for the person you want to become. Cast it wisely. Chapter 10, becoming whole. Real life begins when you stop waiting for someone else to complete you. You are not a half. You are not broken. You are not missing something. You are whole, even in your healing, even in your pain, even in your uncertainty. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You just need to be true. Final chapter, a new beginning. So if you're listening to this, maybe it's because something inside you is waking up, that quiet voice whispering, there's more. And I'm here to tell you, there's a life beyond the mask, beyond fear, beyond the past, a life filled with purpose, peace, and power. And that life begins not tomorrow, not when you're ready, not when it's easy, but right now. The old chapter is over. The old you has served its time, God. It's time to rise, to reclaim, to become, because this is when your real life begins.